here at Scouting Grounds. I think it is still play smart, certainly. I think that's something that you want to be doing wherever possible, as we are going to kick ourselves back into Champ Select. But, you know, take some risks, do something flashy, do something that maybe other players wouldn't do. Because if you're trying to show off and kind of sell yourselves to a prospective future team, that's a good way to do it on this stage.
Yeah, absolutely. Be able to not showboat, but you know, show that you can take over a game, show that you can win your lane.
Play a hard matchup. Play a mechanically intensive champion. Play something you're not comfortable with. Ban Braum, which has actually been as far as metagames go, and again, it's been a very short amount of time. Braum has shown up a lot, apparently, just of his early power, given how fast and furious a lot of the games have been. And there's Xayah as that last ban away from Jurassic, so pretty stable AD ban there.
Right now, there's a lot open. The Aatrox, the Urgot jump up, the Alistar and the Lucian, same thing. Alistar, I like this being taken away. I believe it's one of the champions that, you know, kind of now jumps up in terms of priority, because when you think of the support pool, Braum, Thresh, Alistar are usually the top ones that you'll go for. And then now things like the Morgana kind of come out. And really, there aren't too many tanks left after that. You kind of go Rakan or Pyke if you're looking for something that's melee again. But yeah, Braum, Thresh, Alistar are usually your top three here.
Yep, Leon is playable, but not really in this kind of situation necessarily. She's more of a niche pick, so...
Yeah, usually against Xayah and Rakan.
Well, there's Kai'Sa locked in, and it's going to be Urgot joining in, which of course can flex to either solo lane. We'll see if it is going to go somewhere else. But as you mentioned, Lucian has been on the rise.
Yeah, I actually fully expect the Lucian to be locked in here. This champion has been pretty much taking over the Scouting Grounds. People popped off on it, and then they started to go ahead and, you know, ban it almost every single game, and I'm surprised not banned this game. And that's one of the differences that you'll see from Worlds, is that Lucian's presence is incredibly high right now.
So is this one also. Victor kind of only saw play during the tail end of Worlds, but people quickly adapted to how strong the pick was, and despite some touches, has remained very strong at this go-round, and of course is flexible to boot. So a nice little second and third pick up there for Ocean as a Rumble pick here from Cloud. Going to mix it up quite a bit.
Well, also you have to keep in mind that Victor is also a flex pick, not necessarily top lane, can be played mid by Julian as a control mage. So now both Cloud and Ocean have themselves some flex picks here, but you would expect that Cloud is going to put the Urgot in mid lane and the Rumble in the top lane for Jenkins, since that's a champion that he was favoring even just yesterday when these teams played each other, and it was a 2-1 in favor of Cloud.
Well, there's a Talia ban, so one jungler lost there for Metaphor, and a good aggressive one at that. Also, Morgana going to get taken away, which is kind of what you expected, given the early support pick, and that there has been a pinch here as far as that role goes.
Yeah, and I'm actually looking at junglers going, Graves is up, Xin Zhao is up. There's actually a lot here available for both these junglers. You may have to go after the cream of the crop here, and Ocean may just either ban away something like a Pyke here and just push the support champion pool even further, maybe Rakan, or you just go and like kind of knock off either the Graves or the Xin Zhao, or you just trade those one for one, which I think they will go ahead and ban a support here, because you can just trade the junglers and get a good top tier one yourself for Metaphor.
Well, 5 seconds left. We'll see what Ocean does decide here. Certainly taking their time as the draft is winding down is Tahm Kench going to be banned away, so removing some safety there for this Kai'Sa.
Interesting that they would go for that. I feel like the Rakan and as well as the Pyke are both fine to play. I think you go ahead and lock in your jungler here unless you're worried about a matchup in particular.
I think you have to
actually.
I was going to say I think you have to protect your flex pick, but I guess they're just going to probably complete bottom lane as far as that goes. Yeah. There is Shen locked in. That's the most likely position left for him to play, but of course there is still some flexibility.
Yeah. I don't know how much an Urgot support would help you out, but we'll see what ends up happening.
Rumble
here.
jungle, baby.
Yeah, there's been a lot of Rumble jungle back in the day, for sure. But there's been a lot of hovers here. You can see it, Metaphor saying, even though Xin Zhao is up, even though Graves is up, Camille is up, the Nocturne is what they are going for here. And I think that's potentially because they don't want Shen plus Nocturne on Cloud's side. So it's a half takeaway here, but also it's a champion that Metaphor had played earlier and had his best game of the Scouting Grounds on.
Certainly, again, maybe just looking for comfort here to kick things off. See what Ocean's last pick is here. They got 5 seconds left, and it is Dr. Mundo. So kind of a tank we haven't seen too much of recently, but it's certainly playable.
But it does mean it's a Victor mid, and Julian will be on that control mage up against what's most likely that Urgot at the mid lane. So the Victor was played primarily top lane with Kleptomancy, and it was kind of a replacement for a Jace where you can shove lane, push people out level 1, level 2, and then you have wave clear fallback pattern. You can burst people even if you're behind because As soon as he reaches a squishy, we've seen what Victors can do to pour a little AD carries as soon as they walk up, even if they're losing the game. Burst damage can come out, and you still have to worry about that here, though, from this mid lane. And will this be an Urgot top and a Rumble mid for 5Fire? I would expect them to swap. You have until 20 seconds to actually lock in your picks completely.
Everyone should be aware of that. But, of course, last pick was Camille here for Cloud, so with the jungle pool pretty much wide open with that Nocturne pick. Looks like the more aggressive of the two between Zen and Camille, although they're pretty close as far as aggression goes.
Yeah, Camille, I would say, is a little bit more on the gank mid early side, and if you can go after the Victor, that might help you out here. And combining the Shen alongside it, good delivery tool, but it will be a Rumble mid here with an Urgot top, so it's not a swap here from the side of Cloud.
That's really interesting. I mean, I think in part, you pick Urgot, and as soon as you see Victor, you're like, yeah, I'm getting out of that matchup at the Urgot. So I guess they were just willing to play wherever the Victor wasn't with the Urgot.
Yeah, a lot of flexing around here because now the Rumble mid is what we have to see. Because we talked about champion pool kind of issues for a lot of these mid laners. Can they play a versatile style? Well, now we have Control Mage versus a Rumble in the mid lane. And the Victor is going to win this matchup because Rumble is melee. They're going to play for wave clear. They're going to play for whoever can get to that gold spike first, where Victor starts to wave clear, and Rumble will be able to deal a lot of damage and overheat himself. But right now, once again, watching that mid lane, watching that jungle here in particular in this matchup. But this bottom lane is going to be one where I feel like Ocean, they have a leg up here with the Lucian.
I mean, you have to think so. Drafting a pretty good aggressive bot lane there. Have to see if Jurassic can show off, because again, that is something he's been looking for as far as getting himself back into Academy and beyond. Well, teams will move out here for the first time in this series. I've seen quite a lot of level 1s early on in Scouting Grounds. We'll see if we have any more shenanigans lined up here. But
yeah, on stage though, you pull it back a little bit.
I know.
You know, just pull it back just a tiny bit, fan out, make sure nothing happens, because you want to be able to get to that mid game. It's just like in a lot of scrims where if a level 1 happens and your goal wasn't to have like a good level 1 or anything like that, you're just like, well, this game is kind of useless because now there's like a 3-0 Nocturne running around because of one mistake, and now we slowly bleed out of the game. But here, they don't want to have any of those high kind of variance plays happen where they could have the game kind of blow up in their face. But it is a best of 3 on the stage here.
First laser struck in mid lane though. 5Fire will get poked down. As note, you mentioned Kleptomancy, of course, pretty common for Victor in a lot of melee matchups, but does have Airy this time around to kind of accentuate that poke. And an early sweeper here from Panda. He's going to move that ward that they saw, so they're going to move around, try and find some people with a cleaver, but not going to get any additional info. Although, given the current positions, it's pretty easy to figure out that Camille's starting on red buff.
Yeah, Camille's starting on the red buff, especially with the Mundo in the top side, just waiting in the brush. And I believe that experience from the ward was split 3 ways. I believe that'll give you the level 2 for both Jenkins and 5Fire on the first wave. So as soon as he gets those 6 minions down. Oh, it starts with the E, nice.
Yeah, nice bit of poke there from the Comet, which is Rumble's keystone here in this game. And then kind of a different top lane matchup, Mundo versus Urgot. Haven't seen this tanky of a top lane in quite a while, but there's some action on the bot side. Winter with a taunt, does find Jurassic. Good Q there from Sophos Sage.
Yeah, really good there from the bottom lane. We were talking about it earlier. The Lucian will have a lot of pressure up against this Kai'Sa, and especially the Shen versus the Alistar. And Obese Panda walking straight through mid, and there's the gank. Yeah. That's what you get for queuing him. This is Scuttle to Scuttle, by the way. So you go kill the Scuttle, and then you walk across mid, just flaunt it, and then that was the gank.
That's actually a pretty good trade. I mean, that's one of those ganks that's so obvious that you never think it works, and then somehow it works.
Yeah, that's he did red into Scuttle, into going for a potential gank if he was too far forward. Got spotted on a ward. He still went for it anyway. Then he goes for the other Scuttle, and I believe that actually gets him 3. I don't think that normally gets you 3 unless you sweep, because it's so close in experience to you almost ding. I believe you have to get the sweeper to do that, to get 3 camps like that.
Yep, makes sense why the sweeper was a good early start here. Now onto the blue buff, as both junglers pretty much just clearing full throughout the rest of their camp. But of course that Scuttle advantage will go over. Winter though, knocked up and poked down by Jurassic.
Actually, I take back what I said. He walked across mid, leeched experience. The classic jungle move. That's right, to get yourself to level 3.
It looks like he's helping you. He's actually just taking your XP.
Yeah, I make a conscious effort not to do that, but it does actually help you a lot when you're going for the level 2. Just kind of dip in to see, can I get this kill? Can I get a gank off?
So far, so good here. Rumble up in CS and pushing the wave in with the Flame Spitter as Metaphor does find a ward with the Scryer's Bloom. Level 4, double buffs. Time to go back and keep farming the jungle.
Yeah, you want to talk about farming, though, in that mid lane. 5Fire up 10 CS already. It feels like it's been kind of slim pickings here for Julian, who got that tiny gank off on him where he had to back up and give up some of that CS. But that's because the Victor would shove the Rumble in. And then ooh, good dodge there to the side from Winter.
Nice double pull here from Diamond, chasing down Suffer Sage. There's Ignite, they're going to go all in, looking for that first blood. But forward, the heal burns out. He's going to keep him alive, but Suffer Sage likely forced back here.
Yeah, good E there from Jurassic to just avoid the taunt and then the immediate counterattack. But that's more Summoner's Blown on the side of Ocean. So if everybody just resets, kind of walks away and comes back, then you can make a big play here on the bottom side on Jurassic and Diamond.
Yeah, Diamond again going back in, trying to prevent Winter from freezing this lane. Unfortunately, isn't going to have too much luck, although that cannon getting tower aggro will help. As Kaiser is running back down the bot side to try and grab the farm. Jurassic, though, takes his back. Does have that Vamp Scepter now finished. Looks like Blade of the Ruined King first.
Yeah.
Or maybe not. Maybe just wants the early Vamp Scepter.
Yeah, it's the usual build from the Blade of the Ruined King into the Black Cleaver, into going for something along the lines of a rapid fire cannon. But it's that 1-2 item power spike here for Lucian that he kind of goes for. Whereas Sophis Sage, it looks like it'll be the Storm Razor for him.
Not expecting too much differentiation in Kaiser builds. Things kind of standardized out once she was played all the way through Worlds. And back in topside here. Farm nice and even, but right now Urgot does have the shove here into the top lane, but window farming is happy times for him.
Yep.
Fire with his early Sork shoes, trying to get real aggressive here.
Yeah, and I was talking about it where if you can give the Victor a bad back before he can actually get his E upgrade and have that aftershock component to it, then you're in a great spot. And yeah, he wasn't able to afford the prototype Hex Core update. But look at this. Ooh.
Oh wow, not even going to finish the ward because of the headbutt. Very creative there from Diamond. Protect the vision there for a little while longer, and Winter takes some damage, but other than that, bot lane looks like it's pretty much even out despite some of that trading. We'll see if that down flash does get punished later on. As 5Fire already 6 here with the Ignite. Potentially looking for an all-in, especially if he can pull the jungler over, but I imagine Julian will do his best to avoid that.
Yeah, Julian about to hit 6 as well off this wave, but he does not have that extra damage for the wave clear because he was CSing so poorly and the wave was half frozen on him during the gank. And then underneath the turret, wasn't able to actually get those last hits, which means a lot because otherwise he would have been able to afford that upgrade because he got himself boots and the Dark Seal. And if he was able to be pretty much at the same amount as 5Fire, he would have been good to go. But here we go. 3 people mid, Obese Panda looking for Julian.
Hookshot does land. Actually, the stun burns. Now the flash forward, but the Ultimate Rumble going to cut off the escape. Playspinner running forward, but Julian, he actually gets the first blood. Obese Panda taking too many turret shots. And now 5Fire, he's so low on health. He's running back down towards the bot lane, but he's got no friends at all in the neighborhood. Here's Diamond roaming up into the red side jungle as the next Harpoon
Here goes
misses.
Metaphor.
And Metaphor just going to swoop in and collect the freebie. Oh, good flash. There's the blast going to try and get his way out, but Metaphor, he pops the ult just to make absolutely sure.
I don't think you have to use the flash there, but okay, yo, it looked pretty good for a second there. Metaphor with the level 6, though, before Obese Panda, which is big, because if he didn't have that, he may have had to blow his own flash to catch him. We'll see this one more time here. Julian with the great turnaround. Because the Rumble ultimate is a bit off and he no longer retreats, you see it go down, he says, okay, I'm turning this around. Julian walks forward, he has the heal, and then almost gets 5Fire on top of it. If the Victor ultimate had pulsed another time, it would have been a kill. It would have been 2 there very quickly.
Instead, 5Fire tries to roam around with the fancy feet. He does get the TP here from the top laner, but Metaphor is just like, hey, buddy. Bye, buddy.
Ooh. Yeah, the fact that he had hit level 6 was huge there, because you saw Camille running around level 5 still, didn't have the Hextech ultimatum for that last play, but Metaphor hitting level 6 and having that just kind of one more camp up on him in terms of speed was enough to get him to that point for the Paranoia.
Yeah, as a result, bit of early goal there, traded over to Ocean, and with that extra kill, they will be ahead by a few hundred.
Yeah, and on top of that, that also helped Julian a lot, because 5Fire cleared the wave, had to run around the jungle, which is the time that Julian is respawning. Julian gets back to mid earlier than him, and now they're only 5 CS apart.
Here's Panda again, though. Hextech on the way to onto Jurassic. They're going to dive down. It should be a pretty free kill as Winter is able to claim it. Beast Panda does get stunned, but the tower does not latch again. Diamond, unfortunately, not able to get the trade.
Yeah, it was very close to having that fully stacked E for Diamond, and then the auto attack. I think he used one of his autos while it wasn't completely stacked up just yet, and wasn't able to stun him in range. But very, very close there, just a little bit off, but you can see Jurassic, his flash is coming up in a few seconds, so that's that gank timer we were talking about. Because Jurassic and Diamond went all in on Sophis Sage earlier, they don't have their summoner spells for this play right here, where Winter, he had his flash still. The flash, even though Jurassic gets an E off, it's not enough right here. Even though it's fully stacked, he doesn't have his auto timer up because he went for one punch right before that, and he gets saved by the heal there from Sophis Sage. So the aggression that came out from Ocean, completely punished there by that play. It was good from Winter to hold his flash in the previous time that they had actually engaged.
Yep, again, 2 level 6s on the junglers and 2 kills on either side with them. Certainly expecting them to stay pretty active around the map as we check back in here with the top side.
And I like Jenkins' first buy. The Executioner's calling here. This was something that I think I only saw like Mundo into Olaf. And hold on, here's the TP flank. He knows there's no Mundo TP to match. Another gank on this Lucian.
Deep TP, Jurassic again, the target. He's going to get put into the meat grinder real soon. Not even needed as Jurassic shot down by the Urgot. Now it's Diamond that's getting chased. Urgot's still with the ulti. He's going to let it go. He does find the latch, but Unbreakable will keep him healthy enough.
But they get a flash out of him again, and that's huge. That TP is going to pay off big, but right now, you're going to see Fire. He has to go to the top side of the map to go ahead and clear that wave and rotate. I like this. He's actually covering a wave and making sure that Mundo can't get out scot-free and might actually get a kill here.
Oh, but misses, but there's the equalizer. Again, going to try and chase him down. Fire, almost able to find himself something. Ignite is good. He needs a little bit more damage, though. He's overheated. He's silenced himself, and Mundo is now healing back up and chasing. As he even procs Nullifying Orb.
Yeah, it looked like he came in with a little bit more heat than he wanted to and wasn't able to proc it immediately. But it was good from the top laner there to actually get out and hold on.
Yeah, but he's Panda suspects something. Rightly so. He's going to get out with the ulti. That's so much damage! Nocturne with a solo kill.
And that was a slick spell shield in there too. He was on top of Obese Panda, who went for the hook shot into, instead of rolling away, rolling into Metaphor to try and stun him and then retreat, but he had that spell shield up right in time, so he's able to get his own fear tether off and get that kill.
The reason people were talking up Metaphor before the tournament started, certainly a player that can come up with plays like that is Jenkins' zone mid lane, finds a slow with the Q. Fire going to dive his way in, but another good ult by Julian. That might be enough for the kill, but not it, as Jenkins able to finish it off before the last pulse happens.
And you could see just the amount of damage that was coming out from that Victor almost was enough there to finish off Fire. And Fire is now down in CS, almost 17 here. And the Victor was the one who was behind. Julian was the one who was struggling, and now he has the second highest CS in the game.
Yeah, he was average of about 10 CS behind in that lane, and now has moved that back up to almost plus 30 if you consider the loss he's made up as well. Cloud Drake also went over to Team Cloud, because, you know, that's how it works here at Scouting Grounds. We fixed it a little. So for Sage and Winter also trying to get a push down. Still first turret gold on the way. And Panda will rotate down just to make sure they get it first.
Yep, and this will be enough because he rotated down that they'll finish this. And Metaphor doesn't have the ultimate, and that's going to be that first turret going over to Cloud.
To be absolutely clear, the Drakes are exactly the same as they are in every other patch, but it is funny to me that Cloud Drake did get their mascot to kick things off.
I was about to be like, yeah, that's why Infernal and Mountain are in the finals, you know?
Drakes are better! Are they though? Everyone loves a Cloud Drake siren.
Do they?
I do.
I'm not going to have this debate. I like Infernal.
Freak, when you get back, you know what to do.
Yeah, no.
Defend the glory of NA Cloud Drake. All right, back to the game. I'm going to see a standard rotation here from Cloud. Going to move the dual lane up towards the top now that they do have that first turret already taken down. And as far as turret health goes, on the Cloud side, actually looking pretty good across the board. So Ocean don't really have an obvious point to attack with Drake down. Going to have to play in that long lane here for quite a while.
Yeah, and the fact that they have that Lucian Alistar, I feel like you're just going to swap it. There's nothing to play for on the bottom side with the Drake down. Swap at the top side. You can see Winter already of that mindset, and same with Sophis Sage. But the Lucian was supposed to be a power point for them. They picked it into the Kai'Sa. It got ganked twice. Even though they almost killed Sophis Sage earlier, their Gambit didn't pay off. And so the reverse pressure here is helping Cloud out a lot. And now Ocean kind of have to rely on that mid and jungle. But look, Diamond?
Yep, permanent go button here from Camille. A wonderful equalizer down the choke point, and Diamond is going to get burnt down here. Shen commits the ulti to try and protect it, but Winter left out to dry will be shut down by Metaphor.
Yep, trade to the supports. You guys are just warding, going in for the engage, and they're the ones who end up dying there. I think the kill once again went over to Metaphor, so he's 3-0. Whereas on the other side, there's a 3-0 Jenkins running around in the top lane. And then there's that 2-1 Shen. Winter kind of picking up some kills himself. But right here, Diamond sweeping, looking for those wards. Doesn't quite get the hook shot from Obese Panda, but that's a great equalizer that prevents Ocean from backing him up. And right here, we're talking about that 3-0 Jenkins.
Got a 2-level lead. Looking for the ulti, but can't quite find the angle perhaps. Again, Fire in the mid lane, getting aggressive, but Julian dancing around. Does have 2 upgrades now from that Hex Core. There's 1 away from the final form of that item.
Yep, and gotta watch out for the taunt flash from Winter that could be coming out here as soon as this flash comes up. And I just looked over and I was like, why does Urgot have clarity? He's just using that to, he'll pop that for the mana and just kind of cycle his Summoner Spellbook. That's one of the things about Summoner Spellbook people don't always consider is you get that lower cooldown the more you cycle them. So just go ahead if you have the TP on cooldown, you can't bring Exhaust or Ignite, go ahead, swap out for the clarity, keep yourself in lane a little more. That's exactly what he did there.
It's funny because I don't really see that Summoner spell even on ARAM.
Yeah.
Not that many people even take it there.
I bring it on ARAM every now and then. But then every time I bring it, 2 other people in my game decide to bring it too. It was like, we're all helping.
What's better than 1 person giving everyone mana? 2 more people giving everyone else mana.
It feels like it's overkill at that point.
Might agree with you, but as you said, it's just cycling through there for the spellbook, so it is fun to see clarity.
Yeah,
getting some love.
Take it on some champions that you don't take the Mark Dash on, right? Like, if I'm Mark Dashing on Lux, I'm doing something wrong.
Let's take Ignite.
Or I'm doing
That's
something
like
great.
Trying to kill people. As Julian has completed the final Hex Core. But Fire investing heavily, as Rumbles often do, into that early magic penetration. Actually going Morello first here, which isn't that common anymore.
Yeah, but kind of needed up against the Mundo. Having multiple sources of grievous wounds is big. And it's funny because you even see Jenkins going for the Executioner's Calling for the lane phase, but Sophis Sage, I don't think he'll end up with an Executioner's Calling in his build almost ever. There's only one person he would really hit, and that would be the Mundo if he gets a full upgrade. But right now, fighting over that Rift Herald.
Metaphor has ulti. I wonder if he feels like going back in. Diamond is going to go in for it. A really good combo to start off the fight here. Damage is down. Victor ulti pulsing away as Fire gets dove on and killed by the Mundo. Here's Jenkins diving back in to try and find a trade kill. Rift Herald resets aggro as well, as Jenkins is left out in the pit to die to the rest of Team Ocean. A shutdown grab there as well. And finally some revenge.
And Ocean finally find a good fight for them where they're able to group up. A lot of that, I gotta say, is off the back of your boy Diamond there. The guy played about 3 years ago on TSM Darkness in the NA Challenger Series. Since then, he's been pretty invisible, took a step back from playing at the highest level, the semi-pro level. You know, he's been here and there some LAN tournaments, but you're seeing that this guy still has those honed in senses of when to go in, where is the fight, and you'll see it right here with the Alistar, where Diamond comes up, sees that they're clumped, everybody is approaching, he goes, there's the mask of the ultimate from Metaphor, and there's the headbutt pulverize onto 2, and it pulls the Shen into him as well, and then this fight just ends up being this topside fight for 1 kill, a fight in the pit for another, and then this 3rd one onto Jenkins to cap it all off. Gets Ocean exactly what they need in this game. And Ocean Drake, they've been struggling, man. They're 0-6 in their matches here at Scouting Grounds. They went 3 games against Cloud yesterday, but if they're able to take this, that's kind of, you cap off your Scouting Grounds with a win, with exactly what you want. We were saying it doesn't matter if you win or lose. I think for Ocean, morale-wise, you could be like, the week has been completely worth it. The 0-6 was just towards growth. And it's like the whole lose is improved thing. The win for them, I think, actually definitely matters here because they haven't had one in this entire
as much as players, competitive players, will tell you that it doesn't matter if you win or lose, they all want to win.
Oh, yeah. It's like, I want to have fun. It's like, yeah, League of Legends is about fun. Winning is fun, right? And you look better when you win, just naturally.
Certainly do. And again, something that teams will be looking for, although, as we've mentioned, it's not the whole story, certainly, as Cloud pick up yet another Drake here. Cloud number 2 is going to come out. They also took mid-outer after that exchange, and Aetherius will get top lane as well. So all of a sudden, game kind of bouncing back and forth. They had the kill lead for a while, lost it as Cloud had some nice collapses of their own, but now they're up about 2,000 gold with a good map lead, down 2 Drakes, of course. But should be happy with their position right now as the game is kind of bouncing back and forth.
Yep. And now is when you look at the win conditions for these teams, where I'm looking at this Rumble, Urgot, Camille, and the Kaisa. I feel like the plan is Obese Panda has to hook shot in, Hextech ultimatum somebody, you put the Rumble ultimate on top of him, you put the Shen ultimate on him as he's trying to jump in, and you go for a backline dive. Well, Ocean have the Nocturne ult with the Mask that they have this Alistar that can disengage. They have this big meat wall of the Mundo in the top lane, and then you have this massive amount of burst damage that can come through. And I feel like just the win condition here is much more clear for Ocean.
Long gank there in the bot side. Here's Shen also coming in to turn it back around. Metaphor now going to have to run, gets taunted. He's going to eat the Harpoon as well, but now Jurassic here in the 2v2. 5-5 too low from the earlier changes. Again, going to dive the turret. Looks for 5-5. They will get him after the ignite from Ali. And now Winter getting chased. Diamond, he pops the ulti. He wants to chase them all down here, but maybe a little too far forward. He's going to have to buy some more time. Pulverizes Winter, who tries to drag the blade through for the slow and does land the follow-up taunt. Metaphor, in the meantime, is working on the turret. And that will leave Winter with not enough space to kill the support.
Yep, and good play there. Once again from Diamond, who's roaming all around the map now because of the lane phase getting opened up. And there's another turret dropping down. That's 3 for Ocean. They have all those outers down. That's going to give more room for Diamond to work here. And alongside Metaphor, who has that really high kill participation right now. This is the type of game you were expecting from somebody like Metaphor, from his reputation in solo queue.
Yep, very aggressive player and on a very aggressive champion. So it looks like he and the support have been teaming up to try and put this game firmly in their hands. Obese Panda actually roams down here to finish off Durek Terrell. Does collect the 25 gold, but the second charge did deal damage to that turret in the bot lane. And again, Ocean, now with the outer ring felled, continue to play up and aggressive. This is kind of the perfect situation for Nocturne Alistar, because when you can open up the map and just pick people off in side lanes, real easy to get advantages from there.
Yeah, you just have to worry about the Shen and where the Shen is going to be. But other than that, I feel like the win condition for Cloud is very narrow. Their wave clear is almost non-existent. It's so hard to wave clear with the Urgot, the Kaisa, and the Rumble. Whereas, how are you ever going to get towards a turret where all Victor has to do is walk up and not even really be in range of hook shot almost barely, because it's just got such a massive range? It just leaves very narrow opportunities for Cloud to retaliate. And you'll see right here.
Yeah, again, another counter engage. 2-man pole into the Nocturne ultimate. Seems to be the Ocean special. Winter getting low from the calling, but isn't going to fall just yet. Now Jenkins caught out of position for the rest of Cloud, trying to collapse as the fight splits up. But again, back and forth, Winter goes down. Julian with a big ult is able to pick up a ton of bursts as Diamond looks for Suffer Sage, who is forced to flash away.
That's still Ocean, though. Just rolling over them. That's 2 kills. The Baron is on the board at 21.5 minutes, and they killed the jungler. Obese Panda is down, and they don't have the Shen ultimate to even get him back in here when he comes back up. This will be a strictly 3v5.
It's a very small window, but no ulti here from Rumble. Not a whole lot for them to try and use. They peel off, they look for the kill. They're going to get down Jenkins. They are going to kill him. Now 5-5 eats the briefcase. Not done here. There, it's going to keep chasing, but 5-5 jukes the next one.
Yeah, looks like a bit of slight miscommunication there where Mundo lands the briefcase. People don't want to follow up exactly. And so everybody's going for a recall. It's a recall timing here. And now Metaphor 4-0-5 on this Nocturne. You always have to worry about falling off a little bit, but he didn't go for a lethality build. It looks like he's going for a little bit more in the tank department here, a little more in the bruiser department. But Diamond, again, starting these fights off right. Another headbutt pulverized. Previously, it was the flash headbutt, or the headbutt flash to catch 2 people in the previous fight. He's been starting all of these off on the right foot in the mid game.
And I think, from a lot of the games we've seen from Ocean earlier in the week, Metaphor has certainly been trying to make things happen for his team, but it was a struggle in the top side for quite a while. I think in this game, this is the example of when, he is enabled to kind of help the rest of his team. It's weird as a jungler to play with more supportive solo laners, but I think both Julian and Atheras do fall more into that category. Julian's done a great job surviving a lot of early pressure on the Victor and then really supporting a lot of these fights. But it is Metaphor and Diamond that are getting everything done, and finally a game where they're able to shine.
Yeah,
has to feel good on the final day.
It's an interesting thought as well where, Metaphor is a player that he probably pairs better with a really aggressive laner. So if you pair him up with somebody who is able to kind of just be up in the opponent's face, Like you're thinking of your Hoonies or even like Fake God here in you know, who plays for Mountain, and you'll be seeing later. Somebody who's aggressive in lane, he might pair better with them because he has a lane to play off of. Whereas right here, you had kind of a Victor that was behind, and then you had a Mundo that's just going to be beaten up by this Urgot during the whole parts of the early game. So he doesn't really have anywhere he can play and has to find opportunities. It's definitely one of the harder situations to be in as a jungler. And look at this, going after the Victor, Julian.
Fight. Looks like that Rumble might die, but I think Julian also with a stop is going to buy enough time. The shield keeps him alive for just a few seconds longer, but now a 2v3, never mind 3v3 as Mundo roams in there as well. Good taunt there in onto Jurassic, but he needs to live. Put into the meat grinder though by Jenkins, and that will turn the fight maybe back around. Winter, he's still running in towards the top, but I have to body block and can't quite do it. Mundo just going where he pleases, going to dive in and under between two turrets. Jenkins will live. My goodness, Ocean really kind of brute forcing their way through Cloud.
Yeah, and like we had said earlier, the way you're able to get on this team is hook shot in, Hex-Tech ultimatum, hopefully have a Shen ultimate on top of it or something. They try to kill Julian because he's the one that you gotta kill here. He's so hard to reach, and if you can't kill him in the initial engagement, it's going to be so hard to turn these fights around. And then right here, the meat grinder, able to get the fear off, but then slows himself with the purge. And you guys run past, come back here. That's the one where you're like blocking somebody in, you know, Pop Warner football, and the guy just like pushes you to the side. Well, what are you doing? Like, that happened to me like 5 times, man. Flashbacks.
Well, unfortunately, not a lot that either Winter or you could have done in that case. Jurassic and Metaphor over the top into Cloud Drake number 3.
Yep. This one will go over to Ocean this time, though. Having control of it.
Ruining our storyline.
Kind of cycling the Drakes. Ooh. And then there's Infernal, because you can't have more than 3 of the same Drake in the game. And so Diamond, I feel like, okay, yeah. It's like, as soon as he saw that ward come over the wall, I was like, nope, abandon that idea. Atheris has to back on the bottom side of the map, 5-0 on this Mundo. He's able to survive that lane phase. And now, Ocean, even though it's a 3K gold advantage for them, they're down 1 Drake. It still feels like the control of the game because of their wave clear and some of the levels that they have right now, where it's a 2-level difference in mid with Julian being up. It's just a much easier game for them to execute on. I feel like when we talked about this Julian versus 5Fire matchup in the mid lane, it is coming down to that in Champion, and there is Diamond again!
Yeah, another 2-man pulse there into the Nocturne ulti, but hasn't quite pulled the trigger yet. 5Fire down low, finally to Metaphor. Is he going to chase in over? Winter tries to find the taunt. Stop for State, again gets caught by the next pulse combo into the gravity field. A double kill there for Metaphor, make it 3 as he nabs a triple. That's going to be an easy Baron here for Ocean.
That was a great start there by Diamond again. This guy just keeps making these fights happen and getting multi-man knockups on the exact people he needs to. But Obese Panda, can he steal this? This is the scouting grounds play. This is the play where it's like, can he make it in? Drassic's gonna see him, Lucian on him.
Yeah, that's Obese Panda. Likely dead. He misses the hook shot. Absolutely dead now. And that will mean the hopes of a Baron steal are gone, as Diamond was chasing Winter out from under the area. 5 Barons for each member of Ocean as they'll recall back and try and close this game.
I'll be completely honest, as the jungler, you never expect the AD to be the one that comes after you, but we'll see. Right here, watch Diamond. He gets the knock-up on the 2 squishiest people, 5Fire and Sophis Sage. So Sophis Sage is now in full retreat, and he has to avoid that Victor ultimate. And 5Fire just gets blown up from the follow-up CC. Diamond has the Headbutt Pulverize up again. Flash Headbutt Pulv onto 2, who then gets sucked into the gravity field. Just the synergy that he has with Julian in these fights is just making it so easy. And then, of course, all the kills are going over to Metaphor here. He's getting spoon-fed 7-1 and 6 on this. He did his due diligence in the early parts of the game. Now he's picking up these kills and staying ahead of the curve.
And again, I think Julian complementing a lot of these plays really well. Again, he's very much a consummate control mage player, right? But he's being set up well by his support, by his jungle. Everyone's kind of doing their job as another fight's going to start. Cloud going to try and go down swinging, but they may just fall straight to the ground. Obese Panda dead to Jurassic. Another big pull off to the gravity field is going to mean a wipe and a game here over to Ocean. Sophistate's going to kite out what he can, but I think the Baron cannon finishes him off. More than enough time to run down towards the Nexus. If this won't be game, it's going to be close.
Yeah, they're going to be able to push this down. They've got 25 seconds on pretty much anybody who could come up and stop them. This one is in the bags here, Pastry Time.
Certainly looks like it. We'll see if some sort of miracle will expound, but Mundo running forward in the ulti in celebration, but also to tank up the turrets just a few moments earlier. Ocean got those early kills. Thought they might be at the whim of Cloud's collapses and aggression, but they will take the first Nexus of the series.
And a great display there from Julian to come back from the early parts of the game. There is a bit of that worry there from him being down in CS. And then also Diamond played those fights, those skirmishes at the very beginning of the game well. He was not the one who went down. It was Jurassic who got focused. Diamond survived, and then he made almost all of the starts of the plays alongside Metaphor in that later part of the game.
Yeah, I think early game, as it often does, belonging to junglers there, Obese Panda tried a lot of different ganks. A lot of his early engages did look good, but Metaphor with that first ulti that got a kill, it felt like everyone after that yielded something, if not a kill.
Yeah, and it felt like he kind of played for composition there. The Camille coming in, and I think he went 0-7 in that game overall. Wasn't able to accomplish a whole lot, and they were playing for having something with the Shen to start these fights off because it looked like a very narrow win condition once they had the Urgot and the Rumble. So, you know, when you look at the play, they played the very early parts of the game before Killstar rolling in well. It was that Rift Herald snafu that let the game get away from them there.
Certainly did. Well, for more on that victory, we are going to send it over to the analysts.
Thank you very much, Pastry. Yeah, let's talk about this one. Ocean Drake picking up their 4th game win of the entire tournament. Yeah, 3-12 coming in, and now they've got themselves their 4th win. So this is looking at least a little bit better. They are showing up on the day. That's always important to be, doing well on stage. Team comps here. Victor going into the mid lane. Rumble mid is interesting as well. But I know one thing that I heard you guys talk about was with the Kai'Sa in the bottom lane, the scaling advantage looked really good for Cloud.
Yeah, so Ocean first pick Alistar, and they go Alistar Lucian, super like lane dominant champs, and Cloud opted into Kai'Sa in the 1-2, so they ended up still losing the lane as Alistar Lucian. I don't think that's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's the way things goes. And Kai'Sa had like a big lead, but you'll see later. But I think they just played too fast, and then Lucian somehow got back in the game. But yeah,
I can understand why they wanted to play a little fast too, because on the side of Ocean, they have a pretty much entirely scaling top side of the map where you have a Mundo and a Victor, as well as a Nocturne who's going to be able to hop in. So Nocturne got a bunch of kills early on. Yeah. Maybe they're concerned that the Mundo becomes unkillable, and they wanted to take their early game lead and try and use it a little bit more. But to your point, you can't just like suddenly be like, all right, let's take fights and win, because we have Kai'Sa who got out of lane pretty well.
Yeah, I think it was a fight at like Herald. It just kind of like completely changed the momentum of the game. So is obviously in hindsight, it'd be like, oh, don't take that fight. But how they're feeling in game, they felt confident. But
yeah, well, we do have a replay package to show, including the Herald fight as part of it here. So this is the first take in the mid lane that Julian turns around pretty nicely.
And this was after some other attempts mid by Obese Panda, and he was able to get a CS lead for the Rumble, but then that kind of threw that away. There was the bot lane plays we were talking about, and then this is the Rift Herald fight that at the time, Cloud had a small advantage in, but they have to be clean. You see Obese Panda using his hook shot there, not actually turning on anyone, so that's down. And then slowly they get collapsed in by Ocean here, and eventually they're all in the pit against a Nocturne with a great engage by Diamond, who had them all game long, and they start getting AoE'd down, have to start running out.
And yeah, they're super far away, so he's like hitting front line like from behind them as well. So this top lane who's doing pretty well and got an early pick did nothing.
Yeah, like the Nocturnal, like Urgot and Rumble were on the other side of the river there, and then Nocturnal just completely shut the vision there, and they just got wiped.
Yeah, that was a 3-0 Urgot at that point too, I think, who's like the strongest player in the game, not in the fight, and then they continue to go bad from there. They tried to set up this brush gank, but didn't really get a good turn on to anyone important. The Mundo obviously was the one who took most of the damage, which is perfect for the Mundo, and then it's a long chase down against the Victor, Nocturne, Lucian. Like, obviously they're going to stay on top of you with the Mundo as well.
Yeah.
And then I wonder if we get the last team fight. Oh, we get it. This is the team fight we were talking about. If the game was going to end, we were taking bets on it. And for some reason, this is one of the things you're going to learn, Scouting Grounds players. Don't team fight randomly in the middle of the map over no objectives versus Baron buff team if you're trying to hold on to the game.
While down 7K.
Yeah.
While down 7K, yeah.
I mean, that's one way to lose the game. We're saying like, oh, it's going to be like 35 minutes. Oh, wait, it's over in the next minute.
Yeah.
That happened.
Yeah, I said it was going to take like it was going to take the second Baron. Like before the first Baron's going down, I was like, yeah, they had only cracked the outer turrets, right? Like Ocean starting to win, they'd crack the outer turrets. Okay, they're up like 4K or 3K, like that's fine. They'll do their Baron setup and they'll crack it and hit. And that's like what happens in the LCS. And they got the Baron set up, and then, yeah, Cloud
We're
hits
in
to them
scouting grounds
in the
here.
middle of mid lane.
Yeah.
Like I said, yeah, they might lose if they fight at tier 2, because that's like the normal rookie mistake is you fight at tier 2, which you can't ever take. Instead, they fight at the Rebel of tier 1. It's like, okay, that's a yikes.
They had great river vision, though, before that fight.
They took the scuttle. They got themselves 120 gold back, but yeah. So that one fell out pretty quickly. 28 minutes. We're seeing some fairly fast games because I think, yeah, holding on from behind is difficult. One of the very first things I heard someone at Scouting Ground say in person was just like, yeah, just open. Just like as a joke, like not about the game, but we're making some joke about something random. He's like, yeah, just open. And like that's just so much the vernacular of like playing Challenger solo queue. They're like, if you're behind, yeah, game's over. So playing from behind, not the biggest skill.
No, I mean, it's actually something that's pretty hard to learn, I think, about like how to find your openings from then on. It's something every player struggles with. Even like once you turn pro, like a lot of teams get blown out as soon as things go wrong.
Yeah.
Part of that might be scrim culture, who knows, but it's something that, especially coming from solo queue, like you don't really know how to play as a coordinated 5-man team from behind.
Yeah, I think it goes into a case like for Ocean or Cloud, like they had to lead that game. Like I think they were favored to win for, like they got out of lane versus Lucian Alistair, but probably in their heads like, oh, we need to keep making plays. They did that Herald where it wasn't like correctly like set up and they were like 50-50. And then like in game, it feels weird because sometimes you want to like keep making plays, but sometimes you just need to chill out, like let your Kaiser get items. So it's like the mindset of these players like in game.
Sure, yeah, and it's always interesting as well seeing skill sets transition because in solo queue you're playing by yourself, whatever, like everyone's just being monkeys and you get your farm and you try to get your kills. You play something like this and you've actually got to make calls, like to say, hey, I want to dive this guy. Like there was a fight in bottom lane where Diamond's Alistair like gets a flank kill and they can like 2v1 as Alistair Lucian with Alistair ult up like against a support Shen.
Yeah.
Like that champion is going to die. But I don't know if like Diamond didn't call it or if his teammate didn't hear it, but just like Jurassic backs off and it's like, but you could just do the thing.
Yeah, it's NA solo queue with just comms. I mean, obviously there's 4 teams, like the coaches and stuff. It's unrealistic to be like, oh, like yeah, we're a great team after a week.
Yeah.
Because it's just solo queue with comms at the end of the day. But
Yeah, and I think the other thing too is a lot of these guys probably haven't played on stage before, and even though it's not like you're playing for a prize pool or anything right now, it's still like just being on that stage is a totally different environment than you've probably played your whole entire life in.
yeah,
you can
for
probably
sure.
attest to that
Yeah,
transition.
I remember my first time on stage a couple months ago. I mean, I'm looking at these players play on stage. I want to be there, but you know, like being on stage is like some people are going to be really nervous, some people aren't, some people like rise to the occasion. But I mean, it's like that's what coaches are there for. It's like they want to see like how you like basically day to day how you are like in a team environment and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So of course we'll have more from these players taking a quick break, but when we return, it's game 2 between Ocean and Cloud Drakes. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the 2018 Scouting Group.